For our viewers' sake, who is Bernard Wright?
Well, Bernard Wright is just a regular guy. Um, I don't think there's necessarily anything special about me, but I am God's child. I think I'm a humble person, and that's really why I say what I say. But granted, I know that I'm blessed. I know that um, I've been granted a lot of gifts, and I try to just make the best of them. And so that really is me.
So this regular guy started BDJ Ventures.
That's correct.
What does that company do, BDJ Ventures? What does it do?
BDJ Ventures is a promotional products company, and I really should back up and say that we didn't start that way. We started as a calendar company, an ethnic calendar company, actually, trying to promote positive images of African American men. So there were models in the calendar. They represented real life occupations. They were not professional models, and the calendars had all the dates you would see in any calendar, as well as over 300 dates of historic significance to African Americans in particular. And so there were a couple of different titles: Just for You, the Black Gentleman Review, um, Little Pieces of the Dream, where we took little kids, dressed them up in adult professional occupations to encourage the kids to dream to be whatever they wanted to be. There's another calendar, Reflections of the Negro Baseball Leagues, where we took um, artifacts from the Negro baseball leagues, whether it be old gloves, baseballs, and what have you. And that calendar was delivered to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum in Kansas City, Missouri. And we also did another calendar called Legends of the Apollo, where we took a lot of the iconic figures who appeared on the Apollo stage, and we promote those calendars. And the calendars had the same exact content, date content, but obviously the images were different, and they were distributed all over the country. If you remember Walden Books,
Yeah.
Barnes and Noble, Spencer Gifts, Hallmark, a number of them. And so, but the issue was it was seasonal. And that's a particular challenge because you're putting out a lot of money up front
Yeah.
before you're seeing the return on the back end. But that was how things started, because it was very important to me to not just have a business, but to do something that really had social impact. Again, trying to address a lot of the negativity I saw on in the news, on television,
Yeah.
in the newspapers. I'm aging myself a little bit,
Don't worry.
but let's say
Not far
on social
behind.
media. How about that? And so that's how it really started. But dealing with the seasonality became problematic. So my partners at the time and we were deciding, well, what else can we do? And so what we did was we thought, how can we leverage some of the experiences we've had in this social expression industry,
Right.
and what can we do? And one of the things that was always very important to me, I would go to African American museums, and there would be tremendous exhibits there, really uplifting exhibits. But one of the things that bothered me was that the gift shops were just in horrible condition, horrible, where they were not well equipped.
Yeah.
And this is not everyone, but a lot of them. A lot of them were that way
In the African American.
in the African American museums. And so what we did was we presented a business model to a number of African American museums to ask, if we were to come in, we would work with you on your logoed products. If you would just allow us the space, we'd come in, renovate your space. We would assist you with all your logo products, and then we would manage it and we would pay the staff. Would you do that for us? And we would give you a percentage of the profits. And we approached a number of museums, African American museums, with that business model.
Yeah.
And we were fortunate enough to get a yes, to get a win
Okay.
from the Great Blacks and Wax Museum in Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay.
From the
I've been
Reginald,
there, yeah.
exactly, from
Yeah.
the Reginald F. Lewis Museum, which is also in Baltimore, Maryland, in Inner Harbor. We were also fortunate enough to operate the gift shop at the Birmingham Civil Rights Museum.
I've been there.
I know. A lot of people probably have.
Yeah.
And so these are some of the things that we did. And that worked out very well until there was a decline in the economy because people don't have the disposable income.
Right. Right.
And so the challenge was, what can we do, again, to leverage some of the previous experiences
Yeah.
to move into another area? And from my perspective, if we can provide logo products in a niche market for African American museums, Why can't we provide logo products for anyone?
Yeah.
Everyone has them,
Right.
and hence the promotional products space.
Okay.
And me being a strategic sourcing professional,
Yeah.
I worked on the other side. So I knew that I could get this done, even though it was particularly challenging because it's a commodity market.
Right. Right.
Because that means it's very, very competitive.
Yep.
It's very hard to differentiate. Anyone could potentially do it,
Yeah.
but I had enough confidence thinking no one's going to be able to do it like me.
Okay.
And I don't mean that to sound cocky. That's just how I feel about it.
You have to have
And
that
you have
attitude.
to. And so that's really how we moved into the promotional product space. And fortunately, having been able to work in that space and having enough confidence to just feel that we can get this done, we were able to bring on some top quality clients and carve out a niche in that space. And so that's helpful. So when you hear some of the names of the companies that we've worked with, you will say, oh, I recognize them.
Yes.
Well, a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, when you see the products, you don't necessarily know it, but that's BDJ Ventures LLC.
Excellent.
And so that really is how we morphed into the this particular iteration of BDJ Ventures. So
Excellent.
that's a brief history
Yeah.
of how we started.
So you mentioned you had a background in strategic sourcing. What is that? What is strategic sourcing?
Strategic sourcing is really, if you would think about it, as strategic purchasing, but it's beyond the transactional. You have something I want, I pay you for it, you give it to me, and then we go on about our business. It really is taking a strategic approach to how we go about acquiring goods and services. So, for instance, and everyone does this. This is just the science behind it, but everyone typically does this. For instance, if you were to go to the store, and this is a rather extreme example, let's say you need paper clips. The decision-making process that you are involved in, that you undertake to acquire paper clips, is much different than the strategic process you go through in buying a home.
Yes.
Is that right?
That's correct.
Exactly. So you don't think about it with paper clips. It's like, okay, I don't care where I get it.
Yep.
I don't care about the brand name. I just want to get it and the cheapest price. And really, you're not even worried about the price. It's like, okay, it's nominal,
Yes.
relatively speaking.
Yes.
But a home is completely different.
Yeah.
And I know, and I'm intentionally making these examples extreme.
Yep.
A home, you're thinking about a number of things. You're thinking about the home itself, the neighborhood, the school system, how much does it cost? Is the area appreciating in value?
Yeah.
So these are the types of things.
Yeah.
So strategic sourcing takes all of that into perspective. So when you're purchasing a commodity, completely different thought process, as opposed to a more strategic purchase.
Yeah.
And let's say if it were corporate America, office supplies versus, let's say, medical research equipment.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Absolutely.
So you're not going to just be focused on price, as you might be with commodity.
Yeah.
You're going to be looking at something different when you're dealing with strategic purchase, which, and for me, is total value. And I use a total value approach with everything I do in the commodity space. Of course, price is always going to be important, but total value is important. And by total value, I mean price, service, quality, reliability. I take that same approach to everything. So whether you're buying something nominal, a commodity, I get it. I know you're concerned about price. Price may be your overriding concern, but I'm going to try to give you the absolute best total value experience in what we do. And so there's a science behind that. I am a certified purchasing manager.
Nice.
I've tested to do this, just like if you were a certified professional accountant, a CPA.
Absolutely. Which I'm not, but yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
got
if you were,
Absolutely.
you would be testing to do that to get your designation to earn it. And I'm a lifetime certified purchasing manager. So it's part of the differentiation that I bring to the table when we talk about promotional products. So it's not just a minor thing to me.
Right.
It's major, and it's a huge space in terms of the size of the industry.
Yeah.
It's huge, but it's very, very competitive. And so there are a number of people in it. But in my particular case, in terms of an African-American company in the space, I'd be willing to stand up against anyone.
Great. Well, Bernard, this has been a pleasure having you here today. We have these empowering moments for our viewers to learn, grow, build confidence, and resilience. We want to express our appreciation for your contribution.
Well,
Thank you very
much, and thanks for having me.
All right.
Appreciate it.